Do other people, like other people in your company or other direct sales trainers, make you feel like a total and utter failure? Hi, I'm Paula Ram, and I help direct sellers build their businesses from home. And this was a question I got today from one of my team members. We were both on the same training call of a direct sales trainer that I highly respect and has great training. Okay, but the training call that we were on last night made my team member feel like a total and utter failure because she was not doing all of the things in the training, and she didn't feel like she could do all the things in the training. So do you guys ever feel like that? And I would have to say that probably most of you do, because I know I feel like that. And I get this a lot from many of my team members. I just had to come on because it really struck a chord with me because of the other messages I've gotten and just how I have felt myself from the feelings of failure as a leader in direct sales. Okay, so yeah, we were watching this training and it was full of great ideas, but you know, all the ideas are not for everybody and you can't do all the ideas at once, right? And it made me think back to a few years ago. The owner of our company hired a big name direct sales trainer to come in and do some things for us. And part of that was an interview with each of the high-ranking leaders, directors in the company. And one of them was me. Okay, so she called me and we had this phone call interview. And she was asking how I got sales and how I grew my team, and I was telling her my story. And her main focus was home parties. How she grew her business was through home parties. And I hate home parties, okay, because they're just not for me. I love online marketing. I love building my team and making sales online. I don't like leaving my family to go to home parties, but other people love to do that. So, she was talking to me and she was like asking me these questions, and I was like kind of admitting, right, that I don't like to leave my family in the evenings. I don't like to get out, right? And I just enjoy being home, right? I enjoy being with my family. I enjoy just building my business online. I don't feel that need to have a break from my family. I enjoy being with my family. And that, you know, makes me different from a lot of women who need that break and need to get away, get out of the house. That just shows the different personalities. So there's so many different personalities, and you know, there are ladies who need to have that break and get out of the house, and they enjoy having those home parties. So that's great for them, but it just is not for me. Okay, so I was just trying to explain to her that I enjoy being at home. I enjoy building my business online. I don't like leaving my family. And she was in like utter amazement. She was in utter amazement at me saying this. She like couldn't believe it. She couldn't, she's like, so you don't like getting out of the house and being with friends? And I'm like, well, I'd rather just be at home with my family, right? I'd rather just build my business from the computer. You know, I don't, you know, that's just not me having to get out. You know, I am an introvert, you know, I enjoy friends, but I don't have that need that many ladies do, and that's fine if you do, to go out and build my business that way. And she made me feel like a complete and utter loser, like, you know, loser. She couldn't hide the feelings she had in her voice. It came out loud and clear that she thought I was this awkward, backward, I was probably a Unabomber type person just behind my computer who didn't like to leave my home And she could not relate to me, and she made me feel like a total loser. And I felt like a total and complete failure, right? And it took me a long time to get over that. And a lot of times, and if I think back at that, it makes me still feel bad, right? But then when you think about it, I'm like, wait a minute, I'm doing pretty well. I'm doing pretty well building my business the way that suits me, that I enjoy, that fit my strengths, and it's working. I'm getting sales, I'm getting team members. So why do I feel like I have to fit this mold of some big direct sales trainer who says I have to build a business a certain way? So you guys have to be careful when you're listening to different direct sales trainings out there that it fits your personality and your strengths. Because some people thrive building their business a certain way. And there's other people who it would just be a total struggle if they tried to fit in that mold and build their business that way. So my first point tonight is just really focus on your strengths. What's your strengths and your personality? I'm not against going outside your comfort zone, but if it's a constant struggle and you're just hating your business because you're trying to run it like someone else has told you have to run it, I just can't get on board with that. I can't get on board with that. We're all made differently and we all function differently, and you have to run your business the way that brings you joy and that works for you, okay? And another concern that this team member shared with me was that she felt like she wasn't a good leader, because also in this training had a lot of great leadership tips on how to lead your team. Okay, this is another area, right? Because there's so many things you can do. And again, each leader has a different personality, okay? Everybody is going to lead their team differently. So don't try to be like somebody else who has a completely different personality than you or completely different strengths than you and try to copy them, because it's a losing battle. It's not going to work, okay? So be yourself. How do you like to lead people? So when I joined a direct sales company, mainly because of the product, I had no idea how to lead a team. I'd never been in direct sales before, so I didn't know what the code was for being a leader, right? And so I didn't know, but you know what I did have? I had care for other people, kindness for other people. I had the golden rule. I had kindness. I cared about other people and their needs, and I cared about them as a person. If they had any questions, I was available to them. And I would assume that most people who are watching this tonight have the same qualities. I am sure you care about your team members. I'm sure you are able and willing to direct them to resources to help them. I am sure you want to do the best for them, okay? But once you start focusing on these other tactics, right, that may work for other people, you might lose focus of what the main thing is. And the main thing is how are you caring about your team? Are you really wanting to help them? And that's going to look different for different leaders. So don't try to be like another leader if you don't have those strengths. So like, for an example, my sponsor has a totally different personality than me. She is an extrovert, and she is great at going live every day, which I do not do. And she is great at motivating people and, being that cheerleader and just encouraging people. And she goes on every day, and she is great at that. I could compare myself to her. I could try to be like that, but it is going to be a struggle. So, you have to see that there are other people in your team, that you're not the only one. You're not the only one building your entire team. There are other team members that have different strengths that help build your team. So you may have an upline with different strengths than you have. So just be thankful for them. I am so thankful for my sponsor and her gifts and how she is able to encourage and motivate my team members, okay, in a way, and go on live every day and do that when I am unable to. Should I go and feel like a failure because I don't do that? No, I am just thankful that she is on there motivating and encouraging my team members every day. Okay, so you have to just be grateful and thankful for the other people on your team who have the strengths you don't. That's the great thing about being in direct sales, is that we're all team members with different strengths. Okay, so don't try to do all the things and be everything to everybody. Rely and be thankful for other people on your team and your upline, your downline, sideline that can help your team members, okay? Because everybody has different strengths and can contribute that way. Don't feel like you have to be everything to everybody. Okay, so my first point is operate within your strengths and be just thankful and grateful for other people who can help your team members with their strengths, okay? My second point is that you cannot do all the things. And this is something I struggle with a lot, is that I try to do all the things. I love taking trainings. I love learning about new ideas to build my team. I love learning about new ideas to get sales, to train my team, different things. And if you try to do, most of them are all great ideas. But the thing is, you cannot do them all at once. If you try to do them all at once, you're going to do a pitiful job at all of them. So my recommendation is to pick one thing that you are good at, that strikes a chord with you, that you know you can do well, and focus on that. And that deals with how to sell. There's one selling method that you love and that is working for you. Just get really good at that one thing. Focus on that one thing and get really good at it. And that is way better than diluting your efforts and trying to do all these different ways. If you're on all the different social medias and you're doing all the different ideas that are thrown out there, you're really not going to make progress at all at anything, really. So focus on one thing. Pick one thing, going back to point number one, is that it's in your strengths, and focus on it, okay? So selling, how do you like to sell, and how have you been successful getting sales in the past? You may, so look at the past and also look at the present opportunities that are out there and the trainings that are out there now, and you may find one that you really want to focus on, and then go all in. Don't try it once. So many people try an idea once and I think that didn't work, so I'm gonna go try something else. No, try something multiple times for months at a time. Go all in, learn all you can, get as good at it as possible, focus on it, and get it to work. Whether that be sales, whether it be growing your team, whether it be leading your team. Focus on one method, because you are just one person, and more than likely you have a life with children or a spouse or other activities or a job, and none of us can do all of the things at the same time. Okay, now you may be able to do all the things, but not at the same time. So a lot of these direct sales trainers you're listening to have done this over years, okay? So one year they may have been really focused in on one method. Another year they might have been focused in on another method. But I guarantee you none of these direct sellers have done all of the ideas at one time. And like this training last night where my team member contacted me, had a lot of great ideas for building your team, but you cannot do all of the ideas at once. It's the same thing. You cannot do all the things. You could try to do all the things, but you're going to be stressed, you're going to be scattered, and you're not going to make any progress. So always remember that. Remember, this is like a long-term game, right? It's not like you're going to do everything in 1 month and that's all you have, right? Consider it the long-term view, right? Focus on one thing for selling, one thing for encouraging and growing your team, okay? And then you can always try something else in a different season, okay? So that is big. So you might listen to these direct sales trainers and they might give you 10 awesome ideas for encouraging your team. Don't try to do all 10 ideas. And if you're not doing all 10 ideas, don't feel like a total failure. Pick out one. If one really resonated with you and stood out to you, pick that one idea and run with it, okay? Don't worry that you're not doing the other 9 ideas, because none of us can do it and it's not effective even if you tried. Okay, so my last point this evening to encourage you guys is that you just give yourself credit. I am sure most of you are doing way better than you give yourself credit for. I know this team member who reached out to me today, she is doing really well. She's high ranking. But even though she's doing really well and high ranking, she feels like a failure. Okay, obviously she's doing something right because she's at the rank she is and is doing as well as she is. So obviously she's doing something right, even though she's not doing all the ideas that all the direct sellers, trainers are out there are saying she should do. Okay, so I am sure that is true for most of you as well. Now, there may be a small segment of you who are not doing anything and wondering why you're not getting sales. That message is not for you. But for most of you, I'm sure you are working hard and you are encouraging your team and you're doing a great job. So give yourself that credit that is due you. Give yourself that pat in the back that you may not realize how well you're doing and how many people you are affecting. A lot of times it may feel like you're not helping anybody and you're not affecting anybody, and that is a lie. Right? I am sure you are encouraging many people and just a blessing to so many people. So just realize that to give yourself credit because you're doing a great job. Okay, so to recap, please don't feel like a failure when you see other people or other leaders in your company doing a certain thing or leading a certain way or training on a certain way. Because one, you have to focus on your strengths. You are not them. You have different strengths that they don't have, okay? So focus on your strengths. 2, focus on one thing at a time. Don't get distracted and try to do all the things at the same time. And 3, give yourself some credit. All right, so I hope that's encouraging to you guys, and I will see you next time. All right, bye.